Uncle Tolik is 54, built like braided cable, and has never set foot in a gym. He spends his days at the scrapyard, hauling engine blocks around like they're empty boxes. Boris is 24 and has been benching the same weight since March. He finds this deeply, personally unfair.
He grabs the other end of a fender just to prove something. His back files an immediate complaint. Tolik doesn't even pause. By 12:40 that night, Boris is still thinking about it, over a plate of vareniki, phone propped against the sugar tin. That's when his older brother finds him.
Boris, it's 1 in the morning. What are you doing? Eating. I trained today. You did 4 exercises and skipped legs. Again, put the spoon down. We need to talk about your pituitary gland. My what? Sit down.
Here's what he told him. There's a gland in your brain, about the size of a pea, tucked behind the bridge of your nose. It's called the pituitary, and one of its jobs is releasing growth hormone. Muscle growth, fat metabolism, tissue repair, healthy aging. It decides whether you age like Tolik or age like Tolik's tractor. Most of that release, the biggest dose of the day, happens during deep sleep, not lying there with eyes shut and the phone glowing in your face. Deep sleep. Something Boris hasn't done on purpose in years.
So I've been sabotaging myself at dinner. With the lighting and the timing. Sit still. This will take a while.
A heavy meal before bed sends insulin climbing, and carbs do it fastest, which makes a plate of vareniki, structurally speaking, a carbohydrate delivery system with a sour cream chaser. Elevated insulin keeps the body in processing mode, and it can't run processing and growth hormone release at the same time. Guess which one loses? The fix isn't starving yourself at 9, it's finishing your last real meal about 3 hours before you go to sleep, so insulin has time to drop before the pituitary clocks in.
So the vareniki are the enemy. The vareniki in the night are the enemy. It's not the food, it's the clock.
Light in the evening, especially the blue kind glowing inches from your face, suppresses melatonin, the hormone that tells your body night has arrived. The brain doesn't check a clock, it checks the room. Convince it the sun's still up at 1 in the morning and it believes you completely. Less melatonin means less deep sleep, the exact window where the pituitary does its heaviest work.
Kill the screens an hour before bed. Dim the lights through the whole apartment, not just the bedroom. Black out curtains if the street light outside has other ideas for your room. Boris's version was turning his phone brightness down 1 notch and calling it a lifestyle change. It was a start. Resistance training triggers growth hormone release, but not all training earns the same reward. 4 exercises with a phone break between each set barely registers. What the body responds to is compound lifts, squats, deadlifts, bench, pull-ups, movements that recruit the most muscle at once. Higher intensity and real fatigue produce the strongest hormonal response.
So leg day actually matters. Leg day was never optional. You just decided it was.
Carrying excess body fat interferes with several hormonal systems, growth hormone regulation among them. Cutting it does double duty, better hormonal function and better body composition. You don't need competition stage leanness. A practical target sits around 10 to 15% body fat. Boris said nothing. He was doing quiet arithmetic on how many plates of vareniki stood between him and 12%.
Chronically high cortisol suppresses growth hormone. It rises with poor sleep, overtraining, and the kind of stress that comes from carrying every unresolved problem in your head instead of putting any of them down.
You can't out-supplement a nervous system that never switches off. What actually helps is boring. Fix the sleep first, since it undoes most of the damage on its own. Keep the evenings calmer, less scrolling through other people's problems as a way of avoiding your own. Write down whatever's unresolved before the phone goes face down.
10 minutes of sitting still and breathing sounds like a waste of time. It's the opposite.
Vitamin D deficiency is linked to reduced growth hormone production, and it's common in exactly the population you'd expect, people who live indoors under fluorescent light. 15 minutes of actual daylight does more than most people give it credit for. Zinc and magnesium won't put growth hormone directly into your bloodstream, but they support the deep sleep where the largest release happens. Less a direct fix, more like clearing debris off the road.
Boris did not become Uncle Tolik by the 3rd week. Nobody becomes Uncle Tolik on a schedule. The man was issued from a factory that stopped taking new orders decades ago. But Boris moved his last meal earlier, put the phone face down across the room, put legs back into the rotation, and stopped narrating his problems to the ceiling at 2 in the morning. 3 weeks in, he takes the other end of an engine block at the scrapyard without being asked. His back has nothing to say about it this time.